They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
A Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just so different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-24 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Orchard Lake Country Club in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, bringing you the 2024 Detroit Invitational Grand Prix, which is the 12th stop on the 2023-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors DIAG, Detroit Platform Tennis, Asset Health, Jack McNaughton, Lux Homes, Gen Oil, Crest Automotive, Thursday night OLCC Guys, Capsiver, Wednesday night OLCC Guys, Etkin Real Estate, Bank Ripken, Wilson Partners. I'm Jerry Viant, along with Steve Sullivan, bringing you the women's semi-final between the number 3 seeds, Alison Morgan and Charlotte Sikora, and the number 2 seeds, Lynn Borish and Macy Elliott. And Steve, welcome. It looks like the weather in Detroit is perfect for paddle as we see the players are warming up there on the court.
Well, Jerry, thanks for the introduction. It's great to be here. I think I heard mid to low 30s. No wind. The last couple weekends, the players have been absolutely bundled up, so this should be a more hopefully pleasant experience for the players. But on my near side, just to introduce the players, we have Lynn Burus serving here in the deuce side. Her partner, Macy Elliott, slightly off camera, but you can see her now with the winter cap. And on the far side, in matching colors, matching blue jackets, Alison Morgan right now is in the deuce court, and Charlotte Sikora in the ad. So we have the number 2 and 3 seeds, probably one of the premier matchups in this 2 out of 3 women's semifinal.
Yeah, and this is an interesting semi-final for me, Steve, because head-to-head over the last 2 seasons, these teams are split 2-2, with Borish and Elliott defeating Morgan and Sikora in last weekend's Atlantic Classic, which followed what I'm sure must have been a difficult loss for Borish and Elliott in the finals of Long Island in December, where they were up in the 3rd set and had match points, only to have Morgan Sikora, fight back and take that match 7-5 in the 3rd. So for Borish and Elliott, last weekend's tournament result must have done a lot to really lift their spirits, because it's their first tournament win of the season. They are the defending national champions, and they also defeated in that same tournament Anika Lilich in the semi, whom they had lost to in the final of the first tournament in Montclair. So Morgan and Sikora, they're constantly working on their games. There's a lot of chemistry. They've added to their offensive plays this year, and they're really trying to take that next step and show that mentally they've arrived and have what it takes to win those back-to-back matches against the top 1 and 2 teams in the country. And I think that temperatures last weekend, being, I think it was like 17 degrees, 18 degrees.
Yeah.
It didn't lend itself to the style of play that Morgan and Sikora like. Because, they like to hit down on the ball. They like to blitz, a lot of fast plays. And with the temperature being that cold, the ball just didn't bounce up that high. So we'll see what happens today. But here is Macy Elliott serving first. Oh, and she's, as she showed us last weekend, she's going after her serve. She's been known to have that low and go push, but that big break.
Yeah, big cutter for the righty server on that deuce side. She probably moved that a screen and a half from the center line. So that's a big relaxed swing to start the match. So unfortunately, it's followed by 2 faults. But, Jerry, in the intro, you mentioned that match where Elliott and Burus were up. I think it was 5-2 in the third. It might have been 5-3. And I was watching it from home. I thought it was a great match. It was sort of one of those classic paddle matches where everything's under control. One match is sort of dominating, and then on a dime, the momentum changed, and it was almost like they were in quicksand. So I agree with you. The last couple weeks, I think Macy Elliott and Lynn Burus have maybe started finding their, their level of play, and this one is certainly a match both of these teams won for sure.
Yeah. And that was 3 faults by Elliott, so it'll be interesting to see if she stays with that big swing serve or goes back to the low and go push serve. This is Charlotte Sikora serving.
So Sikora and Elliott came to Baltimore, where I'm from. I play at a club, Roll and Run, in Baltimore, and we hosted one of the early tour events of the season. And Sikora and Elliott, came in and, won the tournament, had a great showing, beating, great teams all along the way. But we actually hired Charlotte's company to come, do 2 days of paddle instruction straddling the Baltimore Open. And I tell you what, the positive attitude, just unbelievably supportive, positive instruction. Hopefully, if Baltimore keeps hosting this event, would be looking to bring her back every year. They're really a great style of play, but their attitude on the court, their sort of never quit attitude is really impressive.
And they have great chemistry together. They really enjoy, spending the time on and off the court. Just, Charlotte has her own company, Racket Odyssey Tennis and Paddle Camps, and her partner Allison, she's the co-director of rackets at the Birchwood Club in Highlands, Illinois. So spreading their tennis knowledge, as Lynn Burus. She is the rackets professional at Rock City Club in Mendham, New Jersey. And Macy Elliott is the director of rackets at the Rolling Hills Country Club in Wilton, Connecticut.
All right, a quick break back. I think the early stage of this match, both teams are probably trying to find their comfort zone, but some great returns from Elliott and Burus.
And Elliott and Burus switched sides of the court. From last year, Elliott was on the ad side. Actually, they switched, I think, after Chicago. Have put Elliott over on the deuce side. Burus on the ad side, and it's really, Burus's forehand off of the deck is something that Morgan and Sikora have to watch out for.
30.
There's the firepower from Lynn Burus. She's got a tremendous swinging volley. I love her technique, traditionally volleying at the net, but there's going to be quite a bit of firepower. I think you sort of laid that in the intro. Elliott and Burus have all the racket skills, all the power. They're probably going to be trying to win a lot of these points with, their offense. So it'll be interesting to see how well Sikora and Morgan can, just sit into their style. They're more patient. They have the offensive well, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a contrast in styles here.
For sure. Sikora is looking to blitz on every ball. She puts herself directly in line with the person who's got that ball in the backcourt. And you'll see when Morgan is returning serve, Sikora will stand in on the service line. That's a big play for them. See there, she is on the service line, eyes forward. And Morgan will try and get that ball down at the feet of the server.
Right, so that's not a traditional setup, right? Like, unlike tennis, the receiving team is 99% of the time all back. Sikora is one of the few players that not only trusts Morgan's return, but sort of feels comfortable in that position versus reading the play and blitzing. And I think what it does is it makes the returning team, you know, well, the serving team really think about either that first volley or, you know, how to, you know, identify where she's going to go.
Sure. And it's added another element of offensive play to their game. They've always been steady, and Morgan has been able to generate her offense off of hard high balls off the back screen. So they found other ways now to get offensive plays. You'll see Morgan has added some heat to her forehand. She's hitting more of her drives off the deck. She'll take that ball early off of down up overhead, so she'll be looking to move in on Lynn Burus's waterfall overheads.
That's such a great return. It's sort of this, you know, combination between a slice and, you know, it's not a squash shot, it's not a traditional backhand tennis slice, but it's so effective off that side screen. And Allison Morgan just really has her shoulders turned, keeps her eye on the ball, and it's just unpredictable about where she's going to direct that. And of course, she led to the volley error there. So it's a great return by Allison Morgan.
And it's right in her strike zone, Steve. I mean, she is best when the ball is high. So it'll be interesting to see if Burus takes a little bit off of her serve, because that's allowing Morgan to have that swing. There's Sikora up on the service line again.
I tell you what, Charlotte Sikora's backhand, the way she's, you know, quite tall, the way she sort of just stays steady, turns her shoulders and makes contact so far out in front. It's one of the strongest backhands in both the men's and women's game, I think. And when she just makes contact, it's just such a clean offensive shot that isn't always the hardest ball, but the way she makes contact, it just comes back so fast at the opposing team.
Yeah, and that's a part of the evolution of their game as well. When this is, I think, their 4th season playing together, and when they first started out, Sikora played the ad side, and then they have switched over to set up that backhand in the middle. She gets more looks with her backhand drive playing the deuce side. So both teams are making adjustments, working on their game. Good shot of Macy Elliott's favorite shot. She loves that rolling, swinging volley into the deuce side.
A little bit over ambitious on that one, but I agree. I think it's actually an APTA tip of the week. A little bit of an instructional video with Macy doing that sort of swinging forehand rolling volley. And I think she gave a lot of great pointers, but she just very natural. She can hit it, you know, down the line, bring it into the side screen. Great covering by Lynn there.
Yeah, nice scramble.
No, come on. Let's go. Break it, Lynn.
So I think, you know, Morgan and Sikora, for them to be successful, they have to keep mixing up their returns, keep Sikora moving forward for those blitz plays and disrupting the rhythm of Burus and Elliott. You know, shut down the movement. And just by giving all these different looks, they cause, you know, uncertainty. I think Burus and Elliott, you know, they have to shut down the blitz plays. Keep it away from Sikora's backhand and make Morgan hit deep off the deck without any pace.
All right, back to deuce.
Pop that ball long, but again, it's the pressure of Morgan and Sikora moving forward.
Yep, I love the move. She just a little bit aggressive with the volley, but it's the right move, and just the variability of movements just as important as the variability of shot selection. So I think they need to keep this up.
Game, Burus, Elliott. They lead 2-1, first set.
All right, so a nice turnaround from being down love one. This will be a contrast all the way through, Jerry. I think, you know, the big offense of Charlotte's backhand, Sikora's backhand, is probably, like you said, the one shot that Macy Elliott and Lynn Burus need to stay away from. But besides that, I think there's going to be a lot of offense generated, and from the movement already in the first couple of games with Charlotte Sikora moving up on the return, there's likely to be a lot of activity here.
Yeah, both teams are excellent volleyers, you know, so they're going to have to really work the placement of their shots to build points and just, you know, wait for opportunities to open up. I expect with the warmer temperatures, it's going to be more transition than what we saw last week.
Yeah, the matches so far today, I've watched a couple of the women's matches and the men's matches, and the ball is lively. It's now nighttime, so it's probably going to be a little bit cooler of the ball, but I think you're right. There's going to be more ability to chase those balls off the screen.
There's Alison Morgan serving, and there was a nice blitz by Burus. So there's offense in the middle. From, you know, Burus loves her forehand, and Macy Elliott's two-handed backhand off the deck is also a big part of her game. So Morgan and Sikora got to be careful where they place the ball when they go down the middle of the court. See, Morgan is staying back off of her serve, waiting to see if Sikora cuts that volley off, and then once she sees the volley go back and play, then she joins her at net. So that's another one of the plays that they've developed this year. Alison Morgan.
And I like the play. Yeah, I like the play, especially with her serve and the strength of the returns from Burus and Elliott. It's a really smart play to to determine, like, what is the success that Sikora is going to have if the ball bleeds through either side. She can defend, and I think, you know, there's no reason to hit a high, you know, a heavy top spin ball right off your shoestrings if you don't have to.
And Steve, I don't even see it as a defense. I see it as an offensive opportunity, because the return gets hit so big. She lets it go through and plays it. It comes off of the screen hard and high, and that's where Morgan generates most of her offensive plays. So it sets her up to attack that ball. And if you can get it down low, the bonus is Sikora's waiting for the blitz. So
Great
I see
point.
it as an offensive play.
Yep, good point.
Which wasn't able to be executed last week because the temperature was so low. The ball just wouldn't come up that hard and high off of the screen, so they were without that play. Nice rip by Burus. I mean, they just can't afford to put anything on that forehand side. So Boris Elliott off to a 3-1 lead. Take a look now and see what serve we're going to see from Elliott.
Great defend. Yep. Great defend.
He's rolling with that ball. Well, they just stayed with the points and not trying to overhit.
Yeah, they hit big shots, but they hit the balls that came to them. And, you know, that great defend by Macy Elliott in the middle of the point just really showed the focus and intensity, you know, that she had to follow that ball off both screens. But I think you're right. They have the offense, but they didn't overplay.
Yeah, so Morgan and Sikora, you know, they go into that blitz opportunity off of the first 3 hits. And if they pull it off, it's fine. And if they don't, then Sikora just drops back and they find another way to build the point. Oh, nice wheels. Good pick.
I think she caught it a little bit unclean off her paddle face.
Yeah.
Oh, and it just spun away from Lynn Burus instead of sort of naturally coming off the screen. So a little bit of a fortunate spin there, but what a get by Sikora.
Yeah. So the last serve was a low and go, and now she's going with the bigger serve. So kudos to Elliott, because it's not easy to switch service motion in the middle of a game. These lobs are too short, giving Boris and Elliott a lot of opportunities to hit different combinations of spin overheads.
And you could really see the second to last one. Elliott just went so low and loaded her legs into that, really enabling, you know, placement in multiple areas and a level of spin. She went right at Sikora and had that ball spin away from her. And you're right. It's just the low lobbing gave her the opportunity to really lean in.
Long wingspan of Lynn Boris really allows her to hit more waterfall overhead from deeper in the court than most players. There's the switch back, they put Boris back on the ad side. See how careful Sikora is with the placement of her overheads there when she's going down the middle. She's really only got a couple of boards to work with, and otherwise Burus and Elliott, like I said, they've got weapons in the middle. Elliott's been looking to hit that backhand drive, and Burus her forehand. Nice.
Well,
move.
yep, you called it. You called it. She waited. Lynn just sort of sat waiting for that one ball down the middle to her forehand. It was a little bit up, and they took advantage of it. Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a volley lesson today, and for more information, visit getvolley.com.
And Steve, this is the 12th stop on the APTA Tour with 3 more tournaments before they head into nationals in Boston in March. And the players are awarded points for each tournament, playing towards the APTA Cup, where the players' top 6 tour results count towards the APTA Cup. This season is a $50,000 purse, which will be awarded by the APTA, $25,000 for the men and $25,000 for the women, with the top 6 players receiving prize money. And the Detroit is a Grand Prix event, so the points are worth 2.5 times more versus a non-Grand Prix. So that adds to the mix as we head into the nationals.
Absolutely. Not only the prize money in the individual tournaments, I think this week the winners are, playing for a $3,500 a person prize check, which is great. But to your point about the APTA Cup, which is the season-long challenge, Macy Elliott is in 3rd place, Charlotte Sikora is in 4th place, and then behind in 5th and 6th are Morgan and Burus. So these matches matter. There's only the Nationals doesn't count towards this season-long challenge, and I think, it's just a great testament to, the local community support, sponsoring these tournaments, supporting the players, clubs really doing a lot to support the environment and bring these players in, housing them, giving them, great hospitality over the weekend. But the reality is, I think it's probably a little bit past due. These players are now playing for, really nice prize money.
Yeah, and as we're just looking at a 40-love lead here. Also, what it does to talk about the paddle community, Detroit Paddle, since they've been hosting the tournament, I think this is their 3rd year on the tour. Both the Grosse Pointe area and the Birmingham area, they run leagues, and the Grosse Pointe Men's League has over 170 players. The Birmingham League has around 80. So both leagues are newer within the last few years, kind of going with the tour. So I think it creates a lot of excitement for everybody. And the Women's League that's run in Birmingham has around 120 women playing weekly. So kudos to all the pros at the clubs, for working together and building the platform community in that area. And we've got Burus and Elliott really off to a commanding 5-1 lead here in the first set.
You got it. You got it. You got it. Is it? Okay, Dad. Go. Go. I got you.
That is a heavy, heavy roller by Burus there.
Yep, and it was a great nick, and the reality was the last couple they're going for it. I mean, that's not luck. It's absolutely talent. These players know how to hit the ball on a very small target, and a roller with that much heat, there's just nothing you can do to take it off the deck. So great skill there from Lynn Burus.
Got that same feeling that I had around this time last year watching Burus and Elliott. They have that tenacity. You know, they're fearless. They're the consistent, aggressive style. They can hit you off the court, and a little bit of that spark has been missing the first part of the season. But I think having their first win last weekend has really ignited. You can see the passion and that skip is back in the step of Macy Elliott in particular.
Well, you know, you come off a season as the national champions, and you probably have this different level of expectation. No one's, you know, going to come onto the court with you not expecting, you know, the level, and everyone's seen them play so much at that level. But I think you're right. You know, a win or two, beating the top teams again, which they clearly have the skills to do, likely is going to just give them a little bit of, you know, positive energy through the rest of the season, because they have, you know, they have all the skills clearly, and sometimes a partnership and a team just needs to gel a little bit.
I think they've definitely added new plays and new looks. They're constantly working on their game. They came onto the tour halfway through last year, played together. They didn't start playing until the end of the year in Long Island, and then great result in Short Hills, Boston, and then, you know, really went after the national title. Doing a good job here of really shutting down the offensive plays of Morgan and Sikora.
Great dig by Allison Morgan. I think Macy Elliott was hoping that ball was going to drift a little bit, but a really nice dig with a great open racket face, and just sort of put the ball up in the air and gave themselves a chance.
Both teams just move so seamlessly, Steve. It's fun to watch, throwing different looks and different combinations, and just knowing where your partner is and trusting what shot they're going to hit. Oh,
that is the
flow.
Yeah, that's the, I don't know if that camera angle was intentional, but you could I almost ducked. I thought I might have gotten hit by that ball. You know, that's the
exclamation mark on the first set.
Exactly.
All right, and we'll have more panel when we return right after this break, right here on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by CPTC.
So what really interested me about the trainer was the endless opportunities with it. I've gone through a couple ball machines in my career before, and this really was a technologically advanced machine that I've never seen before. Digging into it a little more in depth, I really found the opportunities to use it in my advantage. All right, ladies, just 1 minute, we'll get started. Always trying to recreate these tennis ball machines into paddle ball machines to practice, and this was the first thing on the market that really came out. We have a robust membership here, you know, very active in the paddle community, and I think the volley is going to kind of put us over top as a program. All right, ladies, welcome. All right, today we're going to go over our side back screens. So we've got the volley trainer out here with us today. We'll have two on this side hitting. So the cool part about the volley is during lessons when I'm able to use it is I really get a more in-depth connection with my clients. So when I have a lesson out on the court, I can set up the volley to feed a screen, and I don't have to be on the other side of the court kind of yelling to them what they need to change, what they need to do while I'm hitting. I'm really using my my time with them right next to them to make those changes quicker so they can have more success in the long term. Bridget's on the net, Robin sliding over. We are going to be beat by this cross-court lob a lot. I'm Blake Anderson, Director of Rackets at Fairmont Country Club. Try the volley at your club and you won't regret it.
And welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're live from the Orchard Lake Club Country Club, bringing you the 2024 Detroit Invitational Grand Prix. And if you are just joining us, this is the women's semi-final between the Morgan and Sikora and Burus and Elliott. And Burus and Elliott, Steve, took the first set quite handily, 6-1.
Yeah, after the first game of the match, Jerry, was, I think it was 3 out of the 4 points were faults by Macy Elliott. And that was really the only momentum Morgan and Sikora had. Honestly, I think the games were a bit closer. There was great offense on both sides. There was great defending on both sides, but there weren't a lot of deuce-add points. So I think this second set, you know, we talked a little bit in the break. Morgan and Sikora really need to find a way to extend points, find opportunities, and hope they can slow down what is just an onslaught of offense from Elliott and Lynn Burus.
Yeah, and I think one of the ways to do that, they've got to get their lobs up like that, deeper, and consistently, you know, try to find a little bit of confusion, try to find a hole, and the short lobs that got them in trouble have just allowed Morgan and Sikora too many options on their overhead. So I think that's going to be critical for them here to just get those lobs, like you said, extend the play and see, yeah, like just unforced error here that Burus just popped that overhead just a little bit long.
You mentioned in the first set, Jerry, the teamwork and the movement and how both teams are really moving in sync. I can remember, you know, in my junior tennis days, we used to doubles teams tie a rope to each other to sort of make sure you moved in concert, sort of stayed as a pair versus sort of separating, creating openings. And, you know, both of these teams have played enough over the past year and a half that they really know where each other stands. They know when they go this way, the other one's moving that way. One slides, they slide with them. Which is nice to see. And, you know, maybe these first 2 points of the second set are a little bit of a momentum change. That ball got a little bit high on Allison Morgan. Yep.
Very awkward volley there up by the right armpit. See, that's the point where Morgan and Sikora just get the ball back in play. They're in transition. Morgan stayed back. Sikora stayed back after her serve. Just they can't afford to give quick points, especially early in this second set. They want to establish themselves.
Nice cover there. Allison Morgan sort of saw Charlotte a little bit sliding.
Great angle showing Burus's overhead there into the ad side. I mean, that is a heavy, heavy roller that she's hitting there. And you see now they're switching, putting Macy Elliott on the left. She's really added a little bit more spin on her overhead with her continental grip. And there's a blitz move from Sikora.
Great movement.
Put a little skip in her step.
Yep, great movement. You know, Lynn Burus has that overhead volley almost, where she sort of hits it from an overhead technique and pushes it, which is makes her a little bit vulnerable to sort of pushing up a little bit versus sort of the classic. You know, I think Sikora and Morgan have a little bit of a cleaner technique, maybe a more classic technique of how they slide back when they're hit that volley. But I love the movement. This is a little bit of a different energy than we saw in the first set. So I think this is a deuce game they're going to have to grind out here.
And still, I see that fire from Macy Elliott. That spark is back. That tenacity that we saw And Lynn Burus better watch out, because when Macy Elliott gets fired up like that, she gives her a high five, like she could push her from one side of the court to the other. I mean, there's the break. That was a calmer one. That was a low one, but you can see they've got that look back.
I think you're right. So I think that was a foot fault actually. They called on Sikora. Yeah, I think it was a foot fault. But intensity and energy, you can see it in their eyes. You can see it in the way they walk. And when Macy Elliott was setting up in the deuce court for that return, you could sort of see her feet, a little bit of energy in her feet as she's getting ready to sort of line up that forehand. Energy and momentum can really sort of push a team like Burus and Elliott to a different level, which obviously they're already at the highest level of the game, but
no, it's been missing in the early part of the season.
15.
Sometimes that also happens, or when you're working on new things, and they have been working on some changes in their game. It takes time just to get your confidence with it. Nice bail lob there by Alison Morgan. She got quick hands and even faster feet.
I think that's the one great lesson for a lot of club players. When that tempo and a point speeds up and you get into that sort of close firepower range, a lot of club players just need to end it with something big. And, the sort of the skill and experience of Alison Morgan, sometimes you just need to take your medicine, send the ball up in the air, reset the point. And that was a great example of that Alison Morgan showed.
You got it. Get in. Go.
15 all.
Good pressure by Sikora there. Got down low to the ball, and that two-hander backhand just keeps moving forward. She's like a 747 coming at you. Big presence on the court.
And the reality, she has the technique and the power in the backhand. She didn't overhit either of them. She just sort of used her position. To your point, the presence is enough to make Lynn Burus sort of overthink that volley, and that's sometimes enough to force the error.
Nice volley by Morgan. Let's take a look at that on the replay. Yeah, good scramble. Barely got to it, but Morgan was right there, backhand volley, and just pushed it back.
All right, 15-40 double break point.
You got it.
Morgan, really compact swing, hits that block lob off the deck, and she's trying to guide that ball down the line. See if she can get Burus to pop one short onto Sikora's backhand. But I tell you, the short lobs are being punished.
Yep. And, it's debatable whether you take that ball off the deck or, you just know with that much top spin and that much, speed, it's going to sort of set up. It's sort of sometimes debatable. If it's going towards the crease, sometimes it makes you want to take it off the deck. But Macy Elliott has so much behind that forehand that it's really sort of going to be a tough ball to keep back on the court. Nice classic setup with Macy Elliott letting Lynn Burus sort of take 70–80% of the court, playing into that outside. And you really have to sort of trust your partner, trust sort of the way the point's being established, know that you're going to attack that ad side. That last ball just got away from her a little bit.
Yeah, well, that was a good, that lob was deeper in the court and it had Burus
Yep.
moving back. She was out of the service box hitting that overhead and she just missed it. And there's a break. 1-all. Allison Morgan serving in the second set. This is the women's semi-final here in Detroit. This is the third Grand Prix tournament of the season. And in 2 weeks, the tour will be heading to the Short Hills Club in New Jersey.
And then a few weeks after that, I guess, is the Nationals at the Country Club in Boston. Seems like the season's moving quickly.
Yeah, let's not forget about the team nationals. They're in April 6th and 7th. The women this year are playing in Chicago and the men will be playing in New Jersey. So get your players together. That's open for everybody. It's one of the new initiatives on the APTA tour that started a couple of years ago, and it's very successful and a lot of fun for everybody who participates in it.
Everyone I know who's played raves about not only the atmosphere and the team dynamics, but also the tournament environment. I think there's a dozen or more teams in Baltimore in the forming stages. I believe the registration opens on February 1st, so just around the corner. But that is, for the players on the East Coast last year, I believe it was in the Midwest for the men. So it's nice to really get huge participation up and down the East Coast for that team national.
Yeah, they switch it back between Chicago and New Jersey the last couple of years. Men and women alternating. So, and there's another break. So, Burus and Elliott are up 2-1 in the second set. Just a reminder, we'll be back tomorrow morning with the men's semi-final. They're on at 8:30. Yep.
Yep, the men's semis around at 8:30, followed by the women's finals at 10, and then the men's finals at noon.
Lots of big paddle. Talk a little bit about the men's upset, Steve. Happened today. You called one of those matches.
I did. I called Regalado and Salazar against Juan Araya and Graham McNerney, which was a 2.5-hour 3-set match, which each of those sets couldn't have been more different from the others. The team that snuck out at the end was this sort of upstart new team that's really come on strong. Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado. So it's some exciting new dynamics and new players on the men's side, and there's not only a Ryan McNerney loss, but Durant and Mitchell also lost in the quarterfinals. So there's some new names and faces that are starting to shake up the men's game.
Yeah, so look forward to those semi-finals tomorrow morning. Just continue the overhead onslaught from Burus and Elliott. It's a heavy ball with a lot of spin.
And the placement that Macy Elliott put on that ball to sort of start in the back screen and fade away towards the side screen just leaves a lot of opportunity for the defender to sort of not know how to play it. And her ball sort of died naturally into the side screen. Great shot by Macy Elliott. I think I'm figuring out why the APTA had her do that skills session of the week, the pro tip, because she's executed it quite well.
Yes. That was the right swing. I think if Morgan Sikora could get a few more lobs up deeper and more consistent, see if they can cause a little bit of confusion, but also see if they could sneak in behind one, because they need that action. They need that other element of the ball being hit hard into the screen, and maybe if they went in on a you know, on a blitz off of a deep lob, they'd force a harder overhead to be hit, give them more looks.
40-15.
Right now, it's all Burus and Elliott. Oh, nice. Boy, she really climbed on top of that ball.
Absolute rocket. Yep.
Hold on, sorry.
Okay, getting the signals right. Lynn Burus has been giving sort of the stay, fake, go type signals to Macy Elliott.
You see Macy Elliott has just gone to that very successful serve. She throws the ball way out in front. It's very low. She like pushes it forward and keeps the ball from bouncing up high. She gets into the net, and more importantly, she's not missing it.
And the reality is, you know, a number of men have also gone to the underhand serve. You know, in the colder weather, it's very effective to make it stay down. But, you know, Lynn Burus has some of the best volleys in the game of paddle. So the reality is she's probably not going to get hurt, you know, helping as Macy comes to net behind her. So the reality is if you're not consistent with the overhand serve, you need to start the point. And I think it doesn't really put him in a dangerous situation.
You see that serve there that kicked up high gave Macy Elliott the opportunity to drive that returner serve down at the feet
Yep.
of Charlotte Sikora. So, you know, it's not always a big, hard serve. It can hurt you.
And I
Better
think
off
she,
taking
yeah,
some off of it.
yeah, I think you're right. And she took a little bit off of that one, but I just sort of was in between, and Lynn Burus absolutely crushed that ball right at her feet again. So they're talking about it.
And Charlotte does have the sidearm serve.
30,
Not sure what happened there. Going a little too quickly here on Burus and Elliott. 4-1 in the second set, taking the first set 6-1.
In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
Just the speed of play is too quick for Morgan and Sikora right now. They're missing those shots. Because the winner of this match will meet the #1 seeds, Harnish and Sabori, who are through on their semi-final win over Halbar and Nicolescu, 6-1, 6-1.
30-15.
Okay, Elsa Morgan got to get this ball in play. Doesn't have to be a big shot, just when your partner misses their returner serve, it's just the water's going down the drain too fast here, Steve.
Yeah, there's a momentum energy that comes in paddle matches, and errors can come in groups, and teams that are feeling confident and playing offensively, matches can run away from you, and that's a really quick jump to 5-1 in the second set by Burus and Elliott.
Burus and Elliott, they're just doing everything right. They're firing on all cylinders. They're making smart choices. They're like right off the bat, I noticed the energy change and the determination. That look is back, and watch out.
Well, they say you never want to peak too early in a season, and it could be that Elliott and Burus are sort of gelling and peaking at the right time, which there's just so much competition in the top 10 teams in the country that the next Grand Prix at Short Hills, as you mentioned in a couple weeks, Jerry, should be, a continued interesting one. I feel like there's a couple teams that are, Lopez and Cruz are one of them that are very close to breaking through. Lala, Jenica, another one.
It's interesting, Steve. In between these two teams have played Long Island, where Morgan and Sikora, won that 3-set battle, and before last weekend's Atlantic, Sikora and Elliott teamed up, and they won a tournament together.
Was that last weekend at the Atlantic Classic, or was it a different
No,
tournament?
the Atlantic Classic was the one that Burus and Elliott beat them in the final.
Okay, right.
Let's see, where's my tournament?
I did see that. I can't recall which exact tournament it was, but
it was a Steel City Classic.
okay,
They beat
Pittsburgh.
They beat Albar and Jackson, and that's why there's a difference in the points at the top.
Okay, that makes sense.
Elliott
Yep.
and Sikora got extra points playing together over their regular partners. Right, Morgan up 30 love.
Good thing that was off target because that was a cannon from Lynn Burus. All right, a little bit of life here.
They know they can come back. Morgan and Sikora, they have to have that belief. And I'm sure Burus and Elliott would like to close the door right now. And nice placement on the overheads here. Nice and deep. Okay, all of these lobs from Burus and Elliott are forcing Morgan and Sikora out of the service box, so they're not able to get any spin on their overhead or get anything into the screens. There's a short one. All right. 5-2.
Not over yet.
Never.
It's amazing, Jerry. You play a match. I think it was, you said it was this, was it the 5-2 deficit in the third where Morgan and Sikora just sort of plodded their way back. Burus and Elliott started making errors. As I mentioned earlier, it felt like they were in quicksand. They couldn't quite win a point, and it was actually a tough set to watch. But at the end of the day, both teams remember that. You hold on to either painfully or, in a positive way, the memories of what's possible. And there's no more positive duo than Morgan and Sikora. So I'm not sure they have it in them tonight, but if anyone does, they do. Was that a foot fault?
It must have been because
Yeah.
it looked good.
Yeah, that's the second footfall he's called tonight.
So umpire Rob LeBune up in the chair, doing a fabulous job as always.
So it's interesting, Elliott hit the push serve on the deuce side, but really sort of hit the full kicker out on the ad side. And sometimes that's just a more natural, way for a righty to sort of relax their arm and sort of hit that spin away from them. And the deuce court can be a little trickier. Ad's not the right angle, and, you run the risk of missing going down the tee. So let's see if she goes back to the push and the deuce here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what she's been doing for this.
Yep.
Since she missed those big serves. And also the push is much more effective against Sikora, even though Sikora is moving right on top of that bounce and hitting down, which is hard to do because the serve is not sitting up that much. You can see the energy level in Sikora.
And I love the fact that she doesn't have to win the point there as she's staying at the net and sort of gets the volley. Wasn't the perfect volley, and she just sort of played the shot and settled back into the court.
Handling those overheads well from Elliott. No. Just brutal anytime she gets her paddle on a short lob.
Well, you don't know how to predict it because she's hit side screen first. She's hit the back screen first and pulling into the side screen. She's hit that acronym volley, as they say, that is almost a killer. That's dead flat right at them. So she has so much variation that Elliott sort of allows for, I think, Sikora just a little bit misjudged that ball. Maybe there was a little bit of a seam that Elliott caught, but Elliott's got every shot. When it's that, like you said, it's that low lob that really gives her the advantage.
It's just a mental little bit of a blip there from Alison Morgan that you don't normally see. And we have match point. And there you have it. Game, set, match, 6-1, 6-2. And that sets up for the women's final tomorrow between the #1 seeds, Harnish and Sabori. And head-to-head, Harnish and Sabori have beaten Burus and Elliott the last 2 times they've played them, the Chicago Charities and the Philly Cricket.
Well, Jerry, I think you said there's a little bit of bounce in Elliott's step. Their momentum, perhaps the last few weeks, a little bit of confidence. They may be gelling as a team. I'm certainly looking forward to that match. I think that's on at 10:30 tomorrow morning, and the APTA is back up on YouTube TV at 8:30 with the men's semifinals. It'll be the first of the 2 that will be commentated at 8:30 with Broderick Collar playing against Regalado and Salazar. So I certainly enjoyed the match with you, Jerry. Any final thoughts from your side?
Yeah, no, great. No, it's like we said, really big offensive plays from Burus and Elliott, both off the deck and also at net, just punishing, and they didn't allow Morgan and Sikora's game to flow and shut them down. So looking forward to tomorrow's final, and it was fun to call the match with you, Steve. And that's a wrap here from the Orchard Lake Country Club in Detroit. for our Grand Prix. Brought to you by the APTA YouTube channel, presented by CPTC.
Hello, this is John Weinlater with Volley, and we're here at the Philly Open having a great time. So exciting to be out here at the second Grand Prix event and seeing all the momentum that's being gathered this season. It's been great being a partner with the APTA, and we've been excited with all the momentum with Volley as well. And we're about ready to hit our 500,000th ball right now on all the trainers. So it's pretty exciting that people are finding the product and talking about it. To keep track of all the new stuff going on with Volley, follow us on social or visit our website, getvolley.com. Thank you.